Today, we're going to talk about Nelson Mandela, who was born on July 18 of 1919 in the South African village of Transkei. He was named Rulishaba, but then in his school he was changed to the name of Nelson. On 1944, he was married to Evelyn Mays, which he had 4 children with her, but unfortunately got divorced because Evelyn disapproved of his political involvement. In 1953, he opened the first black law firm in the South African, and where he defended black people against police assault. In 1956, he was arrested by protesting against the apartheid, which is a social segregation system which basically separates races, and which he disapproved, but he got in jail for protesting against it. In 1958, he was born to Mary Winnie. He had 2 children, and his married time was 38 years, but only 4 of these years he could be with her since he spent most of his time in prison. In 1962, he was arrested because of bombing government buildings, and this caused him to spend his life in prison in the Robertson Island. On 1990, he was relieved by the President Frederick William, and then in 1993, he wins the Nobel Prize for Peace for ending the apartheid. In 1994, he was the president of South Africa, but then in 2013 dies from respiratory infection.
So Nelson Mandela demonstrated remarkable leadership qualities. He was a man of peace. He had powerful presence and disarmed enemies with his own smile. He showed the world what forgiveness looked like. He was positive thinking about what could be. He was visionary and could see big picture. He was focused on goals and a mission beyond himself. He had remarkable endurance and he showed grit and determination. He also was humble and he was full of hope and not hate, and he was very patient.
Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk to you about Nelson Mandela and why he was important from the history. Also, Nelson Mandela created a new political party against all the probabilities because white people was very concerned about him and they don't want him in the power. Nelson Mandela changed South Africa for the history of the world. Well, Nelson Mandela was the first black president in the history of the world. Nelson Mandela also spent 27 years in jail to be the first black president. This because in that moment the white regime was in South Africa and the Negroes were discriminated by the white people. Nelson Mandela was one of the greatest leaders that the world had. Nelson Mandela changed the treat of the Negroes in South Africa and all around the world. Nelson Mandela is one of the examples of the greatest leader that can make the world change.